welcome to another episode of the Ultra Happy Podcast. I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tania, and your magnificent co-host is back, Andy.
Hey!
Should I introduce you now as as community manager now,
Community manager?
or was it my personal
Media manager? I tell you what, if you've been following the Instagram or anything that's been going on,
Who's been following? Let's give him a clap. He rocked it. He was so good covering the whole event, chatting with you all. I haven't read the messages, which they have a couple of people saying, "Oh my God, your husband's hilarious." And so, yeah, well done. Yeah, you did very well. Yeah, I think people enjoy the chat with you. So, yeah.
I think we had a few laughs and jokes about it. I think there was
know.
definitely
People
some
were
things,
like, it was so much fun. Like, yeah, so yeah.
Maybe I found my new calling.
There you go. That's what I said. Maybe you want to be the new media manager. So yeah, if you were chatting with or sending messages last week, he was in control of of the Instagram while I was out there running the first desert. So like really fast life update, right? We have a lot to talk about. So let's just start just really fast. As you see, we're in new surroundings.
Media manager setup guy as well.
Yeah, please tell us if you like it. New setup.
I think with a new setup, we're probably going to learn a wee bit because this is the first one that we've done
in our new
in our studio,
in our new home studio.
But I think that we'll learn a wee bit from when we do it as well. I think but this is it'll be good.
It's cool because I feel more comfortable.
I'll be honest. Any hints and tips anybody can give us, please do.
I do feel more comfortable. Like I feel like I can like chill a little bit more rather than be in a chair and don't have the timing back in my in my head in the studio. Obviously, you rent the studio per time, so you're kind of like trying to
we still want to keep it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to bore you anyways. But
also we wanted to keep it more like a homely set. Do you know what I mean? So that we can actually sit there and it's still even more like a chat with them.
Chill and just chill out with you guys. If you are watching us,
we have a special guest.
Oh yeah,
who is staring at me right now. So will we introduce him at last?
Hold on, yeah. So yeah, I wanted to say a quick update. As you see, we have new surroundings. As you all know, obviously, we are now living in Dubai. So we finally did the move. We are here. It's been great. I lived here for 10 days.
You've been here for 10 minutes.
No, hold on. I was 10 days. And then before I had to go out to do my race. And I'm just back literally 2 days ago. So I haven't had time to properly enjoy my home. But all the setup.
Media manager, dog sitter, set her up guy.
I know, cleaning lady.
Getting the house,
nanny,
making sure it's organised.
It was amazing. To be honest, having, like we chatted before, I think it makes a big difference having someone at home kind of like taking care of all that. And you're able to go and kind of like forget all those things and you really, truly can enjoy and the experience and the race. And that's exactly what happened. I had such a blast last week, obviously, as you know. We did the first desert. We've prepared, you guys prepared with us all along. Since the first season, this is season 2, by the way. New episode 1, season 2. Namibia was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And obviously, we did it. We did it.
We did do it. However, well, let's show them what you got for it.
I have a present for you all. Remember that I said, next time we'll see you, we'll be in Dubai and I'm going to be hanging in the middle. Well, I'll introduce you. For the people seeing us on YouTube, you will see this. If not, you need to go on YouTube at least to see this.
Maybe put it in the thumbnail.
I'll see it I'll put it in Instagram. But here is the first medal of the desert. I'm going to squeeze out so I can show you.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Look at this beauty. Woo! Gorgeous medal.
So, Tania, being Tania, this is going to be, you might actually remember, for those who was watching the previous podcast, we were actually talking about, oh, you're ready? Do you feel ready? Have you learned anything from your training camp? And we're like, yeah, no bother. I'm going to be fine.
I'm like,
no, I'm going to be fine.
mm-hmm.
I've done it before. I feel ready. I've got my mental toolkit all sorted. I'm like ready to go. How was it?
So remember, you guys, I told you anyone can do this. I mean, you just have to walk. How hard can it be?
Anyone.
Well, I'll take it back.
I
I take back every single word of that sentence because not everyone can do it. It was hard.
Aye. And actually, not that there was a massive fallout rate, but there was a fairly high fallout rate. I think 25 people NDF'd.
Yeah, so it's
right.
like 14%. I think they sent us the stats.
And the majority of these people are experienced runners.
We all, obviously, everyone gets ready and prepared for these things.
The thing was, I think the mistake was, because you hadn't done it before, it was comparative to Jordan for you in your head because it was a desert and you thought it was going to be sort of pretty similar to that. Whereas,
well, it was not. I think nothing can prepare you to be out there in that heat for so long. It was heat around 47 in the sun, and then going into canyons. Some canyons were over 47 degrees, carrying a 10-kilo backpack and just trying to not run, because I think run was way out of the question. Only if you're like the elite probably people in the front, they were truly running. For the mid of the pack, back of the pack is just like survival mode to the fullest. It was just trying to survive the day. And I don't think nothing can prepare you. And obviously I will share many conversations I had with, these people and the racers and friends now that I can call friends now, that we had along the route. So I will definitely, I'm happy to share all those thoughts. Obviously are my thoughts and other participants' thoughts along the way. So yeah,
I think that's going to be really cool actually, because I've seen the footage for that you've taken, and it'll be quite nice to put that together and let the guys see it. For me, that footage that you've got is more like the behind the scenes. It's the sort of thing that you don't normally see in these documentaries or in these podcasts. So I think it'll be really good for anybody out there that's interested in doing it to get a bit of a look and feel for what it's like behind the scenes.
Yeah, and then from a normal standpoint of not normal person, but like a mid of the pack, back of the pack. I'm not an elite runner, like I said, since day one. If I worked hard every step, it was a struggle. So having this footage, I carry my 360 with me, and I'm really excited to share all those thoughts and beautiful scenery. I'm just waiting for the footage from the race videographers to come along so I can add that into the footage. So I'll have their footage, my footage, and obviously other participants also. They've been sending videos and stuff. So we're all kind of putting things together. So I am very excited. I'm just waiting for those to arrive probably next week, and I'll be able to edit and share with you all this beautiful scenery and the beautiful places I went through in these 250 kilometers through the Namibian desert. But just for now and the podcast, I just wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts of the race, just kind of how I wanted. First of all, let you know that we finished. We made the first one because I've been receiving a lot of messages like, what happened? What is it? So we're here.
It's coming.
I know it's here. So I'm not gonna, not wait until the end to tell you. And probably you will know if you check the messages, the Instagram, that I made it to the end for the media manager as well. So I'm really excited to share all the. I think
it's going to be really good for. I mean, I know that you're going to touch upon it anyway. The idea is that it's going to be we're going to talk about it in the other podcasts because it's season 2, like stage 1 and stage 2, stage 3, etc. But I think that when you come back from the from Namibia, whatever it is.
We're still debating.
I even seen it up somewhere.
Namib Race.
I'm very confused.
There's a third.
There's a third one.
There's a third name.
But I thought it was really interesting, some of the points that you made that you weren't expecting. Now, I know you're going to touch on it, right? But just for example, that even though you trained with a backpack and you done your training camp with it, you done everything with it, that was one of the things you struggled with.
Anyone would struggle carrying that in the heat. Just breathing was a struggle, like bear along with a backpack. So yeah,
Unexpected things, I think.
cool. So let's start with the trip because we were pending on. Tanya didn't get the visa, so how the hell I was going to get there to the desert? So finally, we were able to figure out a way where I don't have to put the foot in South Africa. So we did Dubai to Addis Ababa, Windhoek, and then from there I took a transfer, 5-hour transfer or 4 hours. It was really really long. To Swakopmund, where the race headquarters, or the hotel from the race was. So it was easy, fairly easy. I mean, once we kind of, after we jumped the hurdles of, oh, I can't get to South Africa and all that, it was fairly easy. The organizers helped me. Sam, as you know, the one that we interviewed on season 1, she was super helpful in the sense of, oh, you cannot make it. And she was like finding ways and different options for me, even though obviously that's not her responsibility. She was like going way above and beyond to kind of help out with those information, because obviously she is not the first time there's a runner that cannot get a South Africa visa. So it's really good for her, for that to know, that if you want to do this kind of race and you feel like, oh, the traveling and there's so many visas and many hurdles, like, know that there's ways, and if not, the organizers are just happy to help you. Also, they set up a WhatsApp group, which also was super helpful on the days before the race, not only for the travel logistics, but any questions that you may have about gear. Or I didn't ask many questions. I think I had pretty good understanding
It's
of
because you read it like 400 times.
or what was I taken, and there were people asking things that were already in the manual of the race. Everything was in the manual. Everything was in the emails. So literally there was no questions to be asked. The organizers are so good at this. Like, every single piece of information that you need, it's out there. So if you had a question, it's because you probably haven't read properly the email. But it was there. But it was really good in the sense of, oh, what sleeping bag you're using, or anyone knows like how heavy is yours, or, oh, should I change, maybe is that brand a little bit better or a little bit lighter.
For you, it was nutrition, remember?
So it was really good to not nutrition, just because we moved here to Dubai and I couldn't find the proper the fuel that I used to buy in the UK. So that was a struggle for me when I moved here. I just got the dehydrated meals, but I didn't have all the other food that I've been practicing with. So I have a little bit, but not as much for the whole race, because that's quite heavy, and we were moving with a lot of stuff, and I didn't have the the space or the weight to bring the whole stuff. So yeah, that was but it was just asking that, and everything else was I don't know, there was questions about that, about if the sleeping bag or what kind of brands they were using. Was much more of that kind of questions around it, which it was very helpful. So if you have questions as well about that, there is a lot of people in the race, even before you meet them, that they are going to be able to help you. And so we made the trip. Finally, we took the big trip that day, and we arrived to Swakopmund. And it was beautiful. The town is really, really nice. And the headquarters of the race was in this hotel, Swakopmund Hotel. I arrived there one day early, which I also would advise for any race, just in case you miss the flight, which that happened to a couple. I think I heard too. That missed the connection flight, and there was no other flight until the next day. So they were going with enough time to be able to take the next flight. So they ran with no problems. But if you plan it really, really tight, and you let's say you miss that flight, you wouldn't be able to make it. So that's a really good advice. Also, the race organizers advise you to travel with your running gear and food and everything in your carry-on suitcase. just not the poles because that is not allowed. So the poles were the only thing going into my check-in luggage, and just, you know, extra bits and bobs there, gear, like just extra like clothes for at the after the race and before the race, and the PJs and all that, and my cleaning things. That was in the check-in luggage. But everything else, I was carrying a very big backpack of and the actual backpack, and travel with your shoes on. So the race shoes were on the whole flight. And that was a great advice as well, because there was two runners that actually their luggage didn't arrive, and they put all the running gear and race gear in the check-in luggage. So the guy was about to lose the whole race just because he checked in his luggage, and it was like they couldn't find it. At the end of the story, he did find it, sadly without any clothes. Someone picked his clothes out. He found his food and everything, but he lost the gear. So we all pitched in, and everyone was able. He ran through the town and found, obviously, like running shorts and all that. And but you know, you don't want to be in that position. So I think it's very, very smart. Also, there was another girl that lost all the luggage, and everyone was able to. You could put the whole people, everyone there could make one suitcase out of the extras that we all have. But again, you don't want to be in that position of, you know, running around. You want to be there as calm, as relaxed as possible. So I arrived there one day before the gear check and the check-in, and it was great because I had all that day to pretty much chill. I was just sleeping all day, fix my backpack, and just put the big metal food bags into the Ziploc bags and kind of like wrap them around and just try to make the bundles as small as possible, and just trying to kind of like see how I wanted everything to be packed. That's pretty much what I did the whole day. That and just eat. And that's it. So it was, I think that's what you want to be, arrive to the race as relaxed as possible.
One of the things that you had got from someone as well was an AirTag.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I thought that was a brilliant
That's
idea.
the last thing we ran out and bought.
Literally the day before we ran out and bought it, and we set it up and we dropped it in your case, remember? However, there's a delay sometimes.
I was panicking.
On these tags. So Tania is about to take off on the flight out of Dubai, and I get this message like, what is going on? This thing, what is the worst thing that could happen to me right now?
I'm like screaming in the window. My bag is
She
down
sends
there.
me this picture of Find My AirTag on her phone, and it's a picture of her case sitting outside the plane in the AirTag.
And I'm like taking off.
Because of the delay of it. It was in the plane, but you had a whole panic, didn't you?
I was like screaming in my window, like, no, my bag is still down there. Yeah. So yeah, I use the AirTag because
To be fair, it is a good idea.
Someone said that it was a good idea.
If it does get lost, then you can tell everybody where it is.
Yeah, I heard stories about that in the London Marathon, actually. That a friend lost a suitcase and she was able to kind of trace it back with the AirTag. So, you know, that's another idea. If you're traveling around for any marathon or any race, AirTags, I think it would be a great idea. So we got that. Just last minute purchase. I think that was the last thing we're like, let's do that. And we just ran the last day to do that. So it was great. The trip went good. I was able to get there. Like I said, my bags arrived perfectly. I didn't run with any problems back or luggage situation. So that was great. I was like, I'm like off to a good start. I think when your bags make it, I'm like always like a little big victory dance.
It's that relief in it, because you know that everything that you've planned for is in that bag.
It's like everything is going according to plan. Like we just need to keep the plan going. You know, once that kind of like that wheels come off, if something is not working great, I feel like everything starts like, I don't know. I mean, people pull it off, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, it's not the start you want. Just
see if your bags get there, then the rest of it is down to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Because imagine if you lost your luggage and your trainers, and then you need to run with other trainers. You're gonna run it, and you eventually may make it, but it's maybe not with the shoes that you were training with or the clothes you were training
just puts
with.
You off balance.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. And once I got my suitcases, I was like, this is it. Like now, like you said, I think it's down to me. Let's do this. Like all the odds are on our favor so far. So I made it there, and like I said, I spent one day just chilling, and the following day was check-in day. So what happens in these races is that if you remember, we went through a really lengthy equipment, mandatory list of equipment that the race requires, and with lots of specifications and so on and so on. So that day you receive a card, and then with it says medical and all the kind of certifications that you need to get there before, which you submit before the race. And then you have the backpack weight. They weight your backpack. And then another one is the equipment, mandatory equipment. And then race bib, GPS, like all these like things that you have to do. And it's like a checklist, right? So after Sam did obviously the introduction, they introduced us to Sam, the medical team. There's a wonderful medical team with us during the race. There is beautiful volunteers just coming to support the race. They're not paid. No one paid them. They're just there for the love of supporting people. And it's truly like you can feel it all along, like since day one. And so they're just volunteers there. They're just there helping you. They don't know you, but they want you to succeed. And it's such a weird feeling, like all these people there for you, you know? So it just makes it like a really nice atmosphere of love and camaraderie, and everyone's there to just kind of like make the best out of it. So you can feel that right away. So after all the introductions were made, it was beautiful. They gave you this card, and then you have to go. They set up the hotel in a way that there's kind of like stations around the hotel. And then you have to go with a punch card and pretty much go to each station and ask the person to kind of like sign you off in each point, saying that you're okay with it. So obviously they checked that I sent all my medicals, all insurance, which obviously we all did before the race anyways, but they double check it that all your contact information is up to date, that you have a person with the phone number, an emergency phone number, which it was you. So
I don't know how, because you didn't have my phone number.
So just in case
My Dubai phone number.
Dubai phone number, they will be like calling to Glasgow, and she doesn't live here anymore. So they were just asking you if you wanted to, update it just in case. They're giving you the chance. And then the next one was to weight the bag. So that's the tricky one. And weight the bag. And my bag was, here it is, 8.5 kilos. And my belt, because they've asked the weight of the belt as well, that was 1.5. So I started the race with 9. Oh no.
Your
10
maths
kilos.
is absolutely atrocious. I think we learned that from the previous podcast series.
10 kilos. But I don't know how, because it's 9.8. It was in total in my card. I don't know. Something was wrong.
Maybe
Anyway.
they just put you under because they felt sorry for you.
I know, it was like 10 kilos.
Or maybe you had something to while you were doing it.
So that 9.8, 10, whatever, without water, right? So that means that with 1 liter adding, so that would be 1 kilo more. And yeah, I think I could do better than that. Yes.
What, from a packing point of view?
Yeah, that's one thing that we're going to put in the list. And I would love to go into that weight in that stage with 8. So we're going to have to really shave off 2 kilos. How? We don't know yet.
I don't know, because we've got a story about that later on as well.
Stay tuned. I know. But yeah, I have, yeah. I've been thinking about it, but I think we can cut off some things. Anyway.
Was there anything that you didn't use?
No.
So you used everything. So we need to be refined.
I just need to buy lighter things.
Yeah.
So the jacket, for example, the sleeping bag that I use, it was really good. It's the lightest of the lightest. Yeah. I think the trousers, the ones that you lent me, I could do better with. Like just
lighter than those?
I think I need to do better with the weight of those items. Like the puffer jacket, we bought one that is lighter than that already. Yeah. The long sleeve one as well. Like there's little bits. We'll go into it as we go into the next ones. But It's just something to think about. I think I just need to be. I think the equipment was good, bang on, everything, even the food. I just need to find better, like not better, sorry, lighter options. So yeah, because
But that may change when it comes to Antarctica and stuff. That'll
no,
be a whole
Antarctica,
different
yeah,
ball
but
game,
the other
won't it?
ones are the same. All the other ones are basically the same. A little bit tricky because I think also they were saying that Atacama gets quite cold at night.
That's what I was going to say.
Like
because
very cold. So you don't want a thin puffer jacket. You may
it'll
want
need to
to.
be better. So it'll
Yeah.
depend. My point is, it will depend on each race. You'll need to actually look at the almost the forecast and what the season temperatures are for that time and figure it out.
Right now, the next one is Gobi in Mongolia. So right now, let's just chat about the next one, which is Mongolia, which is very similar as this one, not as hot, which we'll talk about this later.
That's
but
China, is it?
Gobi in Mongolia. Yeah,
China.
get a map.
By the way, we do have a map now, just so that you know. After the debacle of last time where we had
How
China,
you've been taking some
well, I've got a map now. So
yeah, geography lessons?
Yeah.
I've been taking some geography lessons though, because we had people racing from 40 plus countries.
47 countries.
And it's like people, where is that country from? What? Where are you coming from? What? Where's that? So yeah, it's quite nice. So cool. I think that's one thing that we should think about. And after that, obviously all my gear was on check. Picked up my BIF number, 18, if you were following me. So that was the second
by the
one.
way, is my lucky number.
Oh no, that's my lucky number.
It is now.
No. And that was the second sign that I knew that everything was going to be fine, because I was number 18. And that's, my dad has this history of having excellent luck, and we all, the family, with 8. So when I was given the 18, I was like, oh, this is like, something is happening. It's good. You know, we don't believe in that too much, but you know, it's a sign. I mean, you cannot ignore it. It was like 18. So I was very happy.
It was weird.
It was weird. And that's it. Once that's sorted, you are free for a couple of hours, so you can go into town and get your last meal.
Your last supper.
Your last supper. And you are able to pick some lunch if you want, and even breakfast for the next day, because after that you will be carried to the desert. You will take some buses.
Carried.
No one's going to carry you, but you're going to be going into the desert with the buses will take you. So if you don't want to eat that night a dehydrated meal, which you will be doing the next 7 days, which I would suggest, just go out in the town really fast, pick up a pizza, which that's what I did. And I had lunch, pasta, packed my big pizza in a plastic bag. So I had dinner.
My pizza,
Oh no. And that was it. Breakfast, I got some fruit, because I knew I was going to miss fresh things, after 7 days. And that was it. We all boarded the crazy train into the desert. And that was the start of everything.
And that's the story.
And that's it.
Okay, that's us done.
Thank you. Bye. So I arrived to the camp. It was beautiful. They had these Namibian people welcoming us
cool.
and dancing
And
dancing all along. There's like singing "Welcome to Namibia."
Yeah, I think we actually posted that on a shot. It was cool.
I actually was like in a little bit of a tear. I was like, "This is so beautiful."
Because that's we spoke
So
about
emotional.
it in the previous series. Is that we love the cultural side of these things, and that adding that wee bit of culture is really cool.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And it was so nice because these locals are sort of like volunteers as well, part of the race. So you will see these people. These people are the ones that are going to be taking the camp down, building it up every day, day after day. They will be hitting the water. Like they will be an important key in your next, and they're there, happy to help you, happy to just be there and just dancing and welcoming you, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, after we all arrived, we were given tents. You could pick, I think, all women's tent, or you can bring your own tent, which I didn't. And I was allocated with the Spanish speaking tent. So that was interesting. And then I get there and I'm like, I knew they were all speaking Spanish. And I was like, I kind of forgot how to speak Spanish at this point.
I know.
So there was 3 people in the tent that were from the UK, but they spoke perfectly Spanish because they lived in in America or South America or Mexico or some time in their life. So they were very good at speaking Spanish. And I was like speaking to them in English all the time. I was like, I just feel better speaking English now. It's terrible. But I had other beautiful 3 souls from South America. And no, it was a Brazilian guy and 2 Spanish guys. Actually, the winner of the race was in my tent as well. So wonderful. It was a very strong tent. I've heard of tents that the whole tent DNF or didn't finish, or half of the tent didn't finish. Or, it's not, doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying it, it's...
Obviously, when you're in the tent, right, and you're spending the time with these people, do you, share stories and stuff like that? Do you actually give each other hints and tips? Or, I mean, obviously, the person that won it in there has got to be super experienced, and he's obviously a racer of sort.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not giving this guy hints and tips, but do you chat along the lines of experiences?
I think... Yes, but you have to be very careful with the feedback you get because no one knows you better than you.
Yeah.
So, example, I came back from, I'm just going to tell this story just because it's coming up just now. And I came from one of the stages. I can't even remember. I think it was the first one or whatever. I came back and I packed a tiny bag of Takis. I know. Spicy.
Everybody's Mexican
spicy chips, snack. Right? Yeah, it's Mexican snack. But I packed this tiny pack of crisps, spicy crisps or chips, just because I thought I know myself that I was going to be out there eating a lot of sweet stuff. I'm not a sweet tooth person. So I packed that salty, spicy because I thought, that's going to help me. And actually, every time I would just have 1 or 2 and then I would just have to keep it because I just had 1 bag for the whole week. And that was just my treat, And I came in destroyed from that day stage, opened my Cracker Crisps, and I sat in my corner and I just eat the crisp and I was just having the best, it's like salty, super salt. Yeah. And the guy, I'm just going to say someone in the tent, obviously seen that. And they're like, oh, what is that? And I said, oh, crisp. And he's like, well, that's not going to give you, it's not nutritious. And I'm like, it may not be nutritious, but for me, that crisp or that is a lot. I literally fought half of that day stage just thinking that I was 10 kilometers away from my Takis bag. That drove me. For me, it was motivating
I get it.
And but for this person, because you were saying they are very elite, they were very fast, very fit, and all they can think is, oh, I'm fueling for to be better. But for me, it's also no one's not better than me. That I know that crisp meant a lot. Maybe yes, it's not going to give me anything nutritious, but mentally for me was good.
That goes back to what we've said all along, right, from the beginning of the podcast, that everybody is different.
Yeah.
For those people that are out there running, and say, with me looking at people running, most of the time, you see either people that are just out there running for fun, and then you see elite people, right?
So that's what I'm saying. You have to be very careful.
But the thing is I can tell the difference out there.
No,
even just out in the streets or out training or whatever. But in those situations, I think it's funny. For you, that's a treat and that's something that you worked hard for and something you enjoyed. But on the complete opposite scale, that person's thinking, oh, I would never do that. So it just shows you the difference.
So that's what I'm saying. The feedback or whatever people tell you, or it's up to you. You have to be very careful living. And then also if
and
you
nobody's wrong.
No. And if you see, oh, this person is doing this with their sleeping bag, they're carrying it like that, you're gonna start second doubting yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just be
yeah.
very careful. You're living in this tight space, seeing people maybe that have done this before, and then you just do you, and just follow your plan because you're doing something because of a reason. So yeah, even though you see or you hear or all this feedback, and you're not hearing it from one person, there's 100 runners that are going to do 100 different things. So just be very careful with that.
I think that's really good advice, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that for the people that, and we when we're talking on these podcasts, and to my mind, I know probably not to yours, is we're talking to a lot of people that are thinking about doing these things or getting on the ladder to start doing it. And when you get to them, you're a bit anxious, or you're probably a bit
You
nervous.
think that everyone knows more than you.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
no,
actually,
because
what you're doing,
you know you.
Yeah, you know you, and I think
that's
that's
it.
really good advice. And well, some of these people tell you these things. Not take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, listen to it, but remember you're doing it for you,
Yeah,
and you've done
yeah.
the training yourself, and you understand your own body, and that's what's important.
So if I pack my bag the way I packed it, that's the reason, and that's how I want to do it, and that I'm following the plan. Even if you see someone else doing something different, just don't try to change it. Not in that moment. Maybe write a mental note, practice it later on in training, and then do it. But in that moment, you do your plan. Also, another thing that happened, for example, everyone was pinching the blisters, and I went in one day with a big blister in my heel, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I was thinking out loud, so I said it out loud, and they said, and I was thinking, oh, should I pinch it or not? I feel like it's not ready
Pinch it,
yet.
what do you mean, like burst it?
Yeah, burst
Oh,
the
it,
burst
right, okay.
the blister or not, which in my experience, which is not a lot of experience in blisters, but I've had a couple, that if I let it dry overnight, it kind of disappears. And everyone was like, oh yeah, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do me, because everyone was tapering their feet and everyone was taking care of their food. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to pinch it. I'm just going to let it dry. And if it doesn't happen by tomorrow morning, then I'm going to wake up a little bit early. And then, so, everyone was saying like, oh, do it now, because that way you can take it out.
Yeah, it'll be good for tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be good for tomorrow. But you know what? Next day, I woke up. The water was gone. I think my body itself kind of like take it back.
Take as much as it could.
and it was great. So I didn't have to pinch any blisters actually in the whole time there. I think one. But you know what I mean? So if you know yourself, just don't try to anything new. And just be very careful with the advice or what you see people doing. I know I didn't want to pinch my blisters or start doing that because I know my body would take it. So that's I hope that answers.
No, I thought it was good.
Once we got to the first camp, like I said, I had my beautiful pizza for dinner, a whole extra large pizza for myself because that was gonna be my last meal. And then we all went to bed. And like you said, you have time in these races, you have a lot of time to talk to people, meet new people, the people from your tent mates, and people obviously in the camp, because then you're like hanging about in the camp. Yeah. I love this. Yes and no. I have a hate-love relationship with that. There's people that go purely because of that. They are very sociable people and they love these races because they are very sociable. Like at one stage ultra, you never see people, you never talk to anyone, finish out, get home, and you never spoke with anyone, which that's what I love them, to be honest. And these one have a lot of social element to it, which if you are sociable, you will love them. Like I said, there's people that go just literally because they love that factor. I am not a very sociable person. That social scene tires me a lot, and I know that. It drains me a lot. It takes energy away from me. It's very tiring for me. So if you are sociable, know that you can obviously go out and have super fun with and meet a lot of people. If you're not, if you're a little bit like me or in between, know that you can go to your tent, lay down, which I did pretty much a lot, most than probably like old people, because that I know that drains my energy, and I don't want to be knackered energy wise every day. Like that takes a lot for me. So I would go out a little bit, mingle, even that day and even after every stage, and then I would usually go very, very, very early to bed and just kind of chill. I love chilling by myself and just, enjoying the views or enjoying the sunset.
I love it when she chills herself as well.
That's your favorite thing. So yeah, know that, and in that sense, if it's an event for both. So yeah, know that if you see in the camera and the videos and all that everyone's cheering, everyone's super friendly, and they are very friendly. But if you want to do you will have that as well. People respect that a lot as well. So yeah, just putting out there. And if you're not, don't feel pressured to get out there and be sociable.
But also, I think there's an element of you have to go and
You
give
have
it a try.
to go, but also don't knacker
Aye,
yourself.
don't knacker yourself.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
try to push it too
because
much.
one of the important things, obviously, the getting through the race and coming back with a medal and going through the process is
That's the goal.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, not
I
make
think
friends.
one of the
But yes,
important thing, and we've spoke about it, is immersing yourself in the culture, getting involved with the people as well. Yeah, I think that you do it, but you're right, do it to a comfortable level.
Yeah, comfortable level. So definitely don't try to be like, oh, everyone, I can hear everyone laughing outside in the camp. And if you're knackered, you go out and try to push yourself, which I had that thought a couple of times. I was like, no. I'm just going to stay here because I'm already knackered. I'm not going to add an extra stress in my body that is already very stressed. So just be very lovely and patient as always.
Like
That's
you
my
said,
basics anyways. That's my basics. Love and patience. Just be...
Everybody's cool with it anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's like
just
everybody's
love
being
yourself.
themselves anyway.
If you that's how you are, just love it, accept it, have patience with yourself, and just navigate with that flag. And and that's it. We are going to keep the first stage. So that was the overall thoughts of the race and how it's, so obviously the race is broken in 6 stages. So I'm going to I'm going to tell you what happened in each and every single stage. They are so different, all of them. Each stage had his ups and downs and challenges themselves, like each one very, very particular. And I'm so excited to, obviously you guys helped me and we all got together and you guys prepared me. You guys, we all together prepared to get to the desert. So I do want to bring you along to every stage of it. So I'm going to put stage 1 and stage 2 together in the next episode. So I can really have the proper time to explain each one. How did it go, and who did I body up or not with who. So a lot of stories to come, definitely. And I did receive some questions from you all, so I'm excited to read them.
I don't know.
I post them on my Instagram. So if you follow me, you can send me a question. I'll be putting it out there, and if you have any questions, we will have a 10-15 minute before every episode answering your questions. So the first one says...
Is it anything to do with poo?
Oh, I forgot to ask that. Yes.
The first question.
Yes, sorry.
Time.
It's not sent into my DMs, but it was just a direct question to someone.
Was it? Typical.
There were toilets in the camp. I'm going to say that. In camp. We're going to touch in the race toilet situation in the next one. Because there's clearly no toilets in the middle of the desert. So question number 1. How are you feeling? Great. Actually, I'm not feeling too bad. Yeah, I'm not feeling too broken. Like I said, my feet there was no blisters, so I'm not sore. I didn't run. I think I ran 15% of the race. Everything else was just power walking, pretty much, or power dragging, power crawling.
But that's something that you said about the Jordan race as well, that actually you felt like your body was in better
Yeah,
shape afterwards.
yeah, because
rather
you're
than
just
a 100
walking,
miler.
which it was hard because it was in like 47 degrees, but muscle wise, you can recover faster. Well, my body can recover. So at the end of it, I'm not utterly broken. My stomach is a little bit tender still at the moment, because also I've been eating so much from like starving myself. Not starving, but I mean, I ate, I think, a day, I think like 2,500 calories, but I was burning around 5,000 to 6,000. So yeah, you were pretty much in starvation mode at that point. So, and then coming out of that, suddenly starting to eat again, like amount industrial food, my stomach was like, hold on a minute. Like we were not eating that much. We were just eating dehydrated meals. And suddenly I was putting in 2 large pizzas, 1 spaghetti, 3 beers, and then my stomach definitely, of course, suffered. So yeah, apart from that, all good. There's no injuries, no niggles. I did had one little injury through the race, but I will talk about that as well. But after, like right now, I'm feeling great. I think I'm ready. Like if you want me to start tomorrow, the other desert, I could. I could. Next question. How much sand is still in all your clothes or gear? You can answer that.
I can answer that. You would swear that she came back with a beach in her bag. Even the dog was wandering about, and there was footprints of the dog in the bedroom when we unpacked
So yeah,
everything.
that
was quite
answers the
lot.
question.
Yeah.
I think we unpacked yesterday.
Yeah.
My parents are here, as you all know, as well, and I needed, seriously, I think we're 4 people unpacking everything. It was a mess everywhere. I just literally put the bag in the bag and just flew back. There was still wrappers, there was still muck, and you don't want to know what all sorts of sort of things in my clothes. I'm not gonna go into that. They smell lovely.
Yeah. I think there was still sand on you.
I think I still feel some sand, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of sand. Like sleeping bag was crazy. Yeah. My mat also was insane. Like, yeah, a lot of sand. But I think we cleared it all.
And very stinky. The sleeping bag in particular, just saying.
My t-shirt.
The t-shirt as well, I know. But having said that, if you're going to wear the same clothes every day, it's like, what do you do?
Did you see the shorts though?
I didn't want to see the shorts.
Oh no, those were bad.
Things like that terrify me.
Listen, I'm not. I don't get scared with things, right? I think I've seen it all.
Be careful.
But then I smelled my shorts.
Oh no, I don't. Let's move on. Next question.
Yeah, I didn't even touch my shorts.
They
were hard. They could stand on themselves. There was.
I love the fact this is a very open podcast.
There was, what's the name, like crystals of salt growing in my shorts at some point, because there was like salt built on salt, built on salt, and there was like, you could, if you pass your hand through my shorts at some point, you could feel like crystals, like starting to build in the shorts. It was insane.
Moving on.
Next question. This was in Spanish, but I'll try to translate it. Did you ever thought that you were not going to be able to make it, or if your body was giving up? Yes, there was two times, I think, where I basically said, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm going to talk about that in each stage where these happened. But I think I knew where was it, what was happening. And there was two occasions I thought, F this, it's not worth it. It's just not. And then for that, I'm going to give you a little advice. I said since the beginning of the race that I was not going to, obviously DNF if it was not like a medical, obviously, but I needed to have a plan. And my plan was, I'm not going to make any decisions. One, if I am hungry, or if I'm hot, or I'm going to make a decision after 15 minutes being cold, like kind of like in a cold, like trying to put my body temperature down, cooling down, and I'm in a comfortable state. So 15 minutes after that, I would make a decision. So no making any decisions while I'm uncomfortable, hot, or hungry. And the two instances that I'm talking about where I was very, very hot in the two of them, and I was like, this is just stupid. I thought I went back to my to my rule. I'm not going to make decisions because I am clearly really hot right now and I'm very uncomfortable. So I got to the checkpoint. I rested. I cooled down. I ate. I drank a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes. And 10, 15 minutes later, the answer was, I can keep going. So definitely. So my advice would be, go to any race with this kind of plan in your head and stick to it. So I know I'm going to be faced with this kind of thoughts. What can I do? What is going to be the plan? So my plan was that one. I'm not going to quit if I'm feeling uncomfortable or hungry. Next question. How did you, how do you say, how did I overcome the fatigue, physically and emotionally?
You didn't.
I didn't. I just gave into it. That's a very good question. And I'm going to answer with the advice or the thoughts that I gave my friend. There was one of my tent mates had never run an ultra before. So he's done marathons, but he was utterly scared of going beyond 40, which that's like untouched territory since in that moment for him. So he was asking me, obviously he knew I've done a fair amount of ultras, and he was asking me how am I going to do it and all that. And I said, I gave him a couple of advices, and one of them, which I think I can answer for that question, is just ride each wave, meaning every emotional wave that comes to you. If you feel tired and sad and broken, ride the wave. Don't try to fight it, because you're just gonna dig it, and then you're gonna dig even more into it, and it's like trying to fight something. It's just there's no way. Just give into it, but know that it's not forever. Like that place or that feeling is a floaty feeling, and it's gonna come and go. As the same as if you're feeling great, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling like, know that is going to pass as well. So just ride the wave wherever. And then that's going to help you to don't feel fatigue, because you're not fighting anything emotionally, at least. You're just taking the feelings as they come. So I feel hopeless at the moment because I was really hot or feeling tired emotionally, trying to battle or like being in that survival mode. Just kind of like know that is going to pass. Just don't take it to,
No.
Too personal.
I think I think that's something,
because then you will drown. You will be starting to drown.
I think for someone, I don't put myself mentally under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, so example. You would not know.
So I'm not. It's difficult for me to try and understand that, because when you say, "Oh, but if you're out there running in the middle of the desert and 47 degrees heat, and what you're doing is you have got sadness and you want to quit." For me, that we spoke about the mental toolkit thing before, where you've trained your brain to try and switch that off. But emotionally, I don't know if I could switch myself off to that.
You know what?
I think what she means, never done it, if that makes sense.
I think what she means, which it is the tiring part, to be fighting those feelings every single second for 9 hours.
Yeah, if you've got something going on in your head all the time, it's bad.
All the time, you have to be in that survival mode, and it becomes very tiring. Yeah. But if it becomes tiring if you're battling with those feelings. But if you're not, if you're just letting them be and then know that they are going to pass, that nothing is going to be like that feeling is a floaty feeling. Like whatever you're feeling that moment is just going to pass. So you're not fighting. So you're not getting fatigued because you're not fighting it.
So it's like telling your brain that nothing is really real.
Yeah. Just
Nothing's really real at the moment.
nothing.
What you're doing is you're just fighting for survival, get
Yes.
through it.
Exactly. Just
Right, that makes I think
just
that makes a
ride
bit
it.
more sense
Just,
for me,
you know, and then don't try to obviously know, like, you know, cheer you up a little bit. It's only 4K to go, 2K to go. Come on, you can do this. Da, da, da. But that is the thing that gets really tiring, you know?
Well, do you know what? It's funny you say that because that's the way I do it, isn't it? Because, like, obviously, when I was out doing the 10Ks, what I would be doing is I would say, oh, I can see the house for now. I mean,
Exactly.
I know, I can see the house. It's not too far. Or when I was doing it on the treadmill, it would be like, right, okay, I've only got probably about 10 minutes to go. I'm going to go and get whatever. I'm going to go and do
Just
this. You've
imagine
got
doing
those-
that for 9 hours.
That's a long time, isn't it?
7 days.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, and I know what you mean. It's emotionally draining, and that's what I was saying. Also, that don't get drained emotionally or like that mental side in camp either. So that's why I needed to save that energy. When I get to camp, I would go sleep or be in my tent all alone, just in that relaxation mode, like kind of like charging my batteries. If I didn't do that, like I said, for me being out there and being sociable, it drains me even more mentally. So, you know, being drained from the race and then drained socially, like it wouldn't. So, so know that that is also like you have to know yourself in a very good level to know how to dose yourself and how to manage fatigue. I'm talking about emotional fatigue, like mentally fatigue and physically fatigue. To be honest, I think my body was super rock star. I never I got a couple cramps, which I will talk about. But other than that, you know, I never felt like my body was broken or not totally pain or nothing. So that helps if your body is cooperating and it's really strong. You don't, you know, so that is good. And hope I answered that question. And I think that's all the questions I got from my post
they were all good
yesterday.
questions.
Yeah, I love that because I can hear you guys. What do you want to hear? What's your questions? What is, you know, what's kind of in your head? What could be potentially stopping you to do a challenge? So if they, for example, someone's saying like, you know, how do you manage this? Maybe they're battling with that, and if I'm able to help or put a little bit of advice in that, and that's going to make a difference on your running or in your training, that's what we're here for. So that is going to be it for today. And know that the blog and all the footage, like I said, it's coming. I'm just waiting for the footage of the race to come by so I can have everything together. You will have the first stage pictures out tonight. So again, if you have any questions, send them over into my Instagram or in the Ultra Happy podcast. I will be answering. We are back for season 2, and we are going to be back every week from now to Mongolia for Gobi Desert number 2, and that countdown is starting now. We have 6 weeks.
Now.
6 weeks. We have 6 weeks. So remember, we started with the countdown weeks ago for Namib Desert,
like a long
like
time ago.
14 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago. It was the race, and now we're 6 weeks for Desert number 2. So hopefully, we'll have another big boy coming. And I'll be super excited to pretty much recover. I'm not doing any crazy training in between, just pretty much recovering, fueling back up, getting all those stats, all the energy restored, eating a lot, sleeping a lot, and I can do that.
The media manager's figuring out how to work all this new equipment.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have some fun with the equipment, and I'm going to create those videos for you guys as well. So I am super excited for this new chapter. And obviously later on, we will be sharing Dubai with you. And we're so excited to share this journey and obviously the desert journey and other journey with you. And if you have any questions, please shoot us a message. And yeah.
And our special guest has left
Oh,
us.
he just left, but
He
I
just
will.
left.
I need to
One day
introduce you
we will introduce you to the chatter.
to the
One day.
proper inspiration of my madness,
Yeah.
the dog.
the dog.
But until then, have a wonderful weekend, and remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.